So let us start with Docker installation first. Okay, so for that, I would open browser and I will say Docker installation. Docs.docker, right? So this is your Docker official documentation. We can go to this Docker official documentation. And depending on what operating system you are using, you can click on that respective operating system for setting up your installation. Okay, this is the installation overview, and we are basically talking about Docker desktop for Windows. Very, very simple steps, friends. You can just ensure that these steps are followed depending on what installation that we have here, right? So just follow this. You can also have this Docker desktop, right? We'll look into that also. But in order to ensure that your Docker is working, right? One of the softwares that we need is this Hyper-V. Okay, this hypervisor setup is required. Okay, so you need to look into that aspect as well, and you need to follow the instructions here. It's just you get a .exe file, right? And from here you can just download it and follow these instructions. So you double click it, click next, and it will basically give you this option. Once the option is coming, you will basically say that WSL2 instead of Hyper-V option have to be selected in the configuration. Okay, and then just follow the installation steps which are given on the GUI, and you complete your installation. Okay, very simple installations, guys. You really don't have to worry much. Once the installation is completed, you will get Docker desktop. Okay, so when you're installing, you'll also get a front-end application. And one more thing is, you'll always better to have Docker Hub account created. Okay, there is something called as Docker Hub. This Docker Hub is the I should say it's like the centralized repository, hub.docker.com. You will have to create your account here, register for this and create an account in this, so that any image that you are creating, which is on your local machine, by the way, can be pushed into this repository. This is a global level centralized repository which maintains all the images that can be used by anyone. It's a public portal. If you make your image public, anyone can use that image and then create their containers. Right? So this is like a centralized image management repository. So you build an image. If you want to use that image, you run that image in your local machine to create a container, which is something that we are going to demonstrate now. We're going to work on that. But if you want to save this image, then you can push the image into this Docker Hub. Open the Docker Hub, register, and sign in. Okay, this is the centralized repository, friends, as I said. So huge, millions of applications are there here in the Docker Hub. Right? And once the Docker is installed, you'll also have I don't remember that this is sign in. Yeah, it's already saved on my browser, so it's automatically coming in. I just logged in. Right, so this is Docker Hub. I go to the main page. Let me see if I can. This is my repository, my organizations. Yeah, these are all the publicly available images. You don't need to have an account in the hub to use the publicly available images, but just to maintain right, a dedicated account, it is always good to have your account created right now. I'll also, right, I mean, we will work with Docker on your command prompt, right? Or you can also use Docker desktop. Once the Docker is installed, you get this Docker desktop as well.